Hi. Well, it's a cold winter night on January 10th, 2019, and finally, after a very long odyssey, I'm finished packing up my house and I'm moving out and I'm done. This is it. I'm walking out. I'm walking through the house right now. Back in the 1950s, 54, 55, my paternal grandfather, Rocco, who I'm named after, moved from Jersey City to Lyndhurst and bought this house back in the mid 50s. Then my father met my mother in 56. They got married in 56 and they moved in here right after their honeymoon. And they built a life here with my paternal grandfather. It's a big enough house. There's bedrooms upstairs. And it was originally a two-family house. And then we turned it into a one-family, bedrooms upstairs and everything else downstairs. And my grandfather's bedroom was downstairs, and my parents' master bedroom was upstairs. My bedroom was upstairs. Anyway, so I'm walking through the house right now, just making sure that everything's together. And this room was my grandfather's bedroom back in the 60s, 50s, 60s, and early 70s, and through 1984 when he died. And then my mother got ill in 1995, and she could no longer walk the stairs. She got Guillain-Barré, and she became paralyzed in 1995. And so she could no longer use the stairs. So this became her bedroom down here on the first floor. Anyway, I'm just thinking back and remember all the great memories we've had in this house. I grew up in this house. Here's the living room. And this room is probably one of my favorites. It's the dining room. But back in the 1960s, when I was a young boy, this was the playroom. That's right, the playroom designed for kids, for me. It had all my toys in this room, my TV, everything. My friends would come over. We'd have fun in here. This was nothing but fun. This room was total fun. It had tons and tons of toys in the 1960s as I was growing up. I remember one time, very funny story, I had a gerbil cage. My grandfather, my paternal grandfather, Rocco, he's like a carpenter. He did carpentry. He built me a gerbil cage, and I had two gerbils, and that was right over there in the corner. And the two gerbils got out of the cage one day. That's right. They got out of the cage, and they were running around the kitchen. It was driving my mother crazy. She was freaking out. One of the very, very good memories I had. And during the 60s, when I was a young boy, I used to draw a lot. I used to draw a lot of cartoons. So in this room, I did a lot of creative stuff. I drew a lot of cartoons. I created my own movies and shows out of these drawings that I did. I did whole show, and I would draw. And we did a lot of creative stuff in this room. It was fantastic. This was total fun, great memories in the 60s. Then 1971 came, around 10 or 11 years old. My father said, you had enough of that. And he turned the room into a formal dining room. And of course, since 1971, 72, when this was a dining room, there are tons of great family dinners and great memories in this room with the whole family over on holidays, on Sundays, and all kinds of great dinners and great times and great laughs and great fun in this room here. This is also the room where my father got pancreatic cancer, and we had to turn it into a makeshift hospital room for him with hospice care, and he passed away in this room. And my mother always said that she never ever wanted to die in the hospital. She wanted to die in the house with the same way my father went. And lo and behold, 2016 in April, she was very sick, and her health was deteriorating, and we had hospice care for her in this same room. We turned the dining room into a makeshift hospital room. And that's what we did for my father in 1991, and that's what we did for my mother in 2016, and she passed away in this room, in the exact same spot where my father lied in his bed and passed away. It's exactly what she wanted. She used to tell me that forever. When my father died in 91, she told me she never wanted to go to the hospital and die in the hospital. She wanted to die at home the way he did. And in 2016, she did. It worked out exactly the way she wanted it. It's probably one of my most proudest achievements is that I gave her exactly what she wanted, right to the detail. Anyway, great memories. Great memories. I want to show you the basement real quick. Because in the 1970s, the basement was a key area where us young teens, as I was growing up with all my friends in Lyndhurst High School, this is where the basement was completely differently configured back then. Now I have a couch here, I have the TV down here and all that. But back in the 1970s, this was pretty rustic, and we had a whole weightlifting set down here. And my friends and I would come down here and we'd lift weights. And there was a lot of weightlifting going on down here, exercising, all kinds of stuff. And I was on the wrestling team, and it was great memories, great times, great stuff. And again, great stuff. The 60s was in my playroom. The 70s was in the basement with my weightlifting equipment and all my friends. And great stuff. By the way, this is the pantry. If you remember, at one time, this pantry was full of fluff and peanut butter and Girl Scout cookies and everything. Well, now it's all packed up, all gone. Well, I'm exhausted from cleaning stuff out and packing up and hauling stuff to where I'm going in Jersey City. I'm going to my Aunt Loretta's apartment in Jersey City, which is the roots of my family. My family comes from the Marion section of Jersey City. The apartment I'm going into is the apartment that I spent most of my young life in, because that's where my aunts lived, and we spent a lot of time there. And so I'm going to live there in Jersey City in the same apartment. And she's by herself now. She's 96, and I'm moving in there. And moving on from Lyndhurst, and great memories here. Great memories. And right now I'm relaxing after a hard day of packing stuff up and hauling stuff to the apartment in Jersey City. And I'm relaxing, sitting down, listening to a very, very good friend of mine. One of my dearest, closest friends who I love with all my heart and soul, Mauro Mileno. Mauro is a performer, and he produced a CD, Sitting on Mars. He sings and writes his own music, and I love him. I love his music, and I can't think of a better way to close out the house and finish up my life in Lyndhurst on Page Avenue than listening to my friend Mauro Mileno, whose music just soothes my soul and just touches my heart, and I just love it. He's like a salve. Heals. I love him, and I'm thankful for his talent. During high school, during the 1970s, we were very close friends because he and I used to perform together in all the Lyndhurst High School plays, and we did all the stage plays together for all those years. And he was a great performing partner, and we were very, very close. One of my closest friends, and he went on to do great things. And he produces, and he does his own music. He writes and sings his own music, produces his own CD. So I'm sitting down and listening to him, as I do often, but I figure this is a proper, fitting way to say goodbye to my house in Lyndhurst. A lot of great memories, and I'm going to miss it. It's tough to move on and kind of like close out basically 57 years of my life and beginning a whole new chapter. It's tough to do when you're 57. It's tough to make a radical, major life change. I'm going to miss all the memories. At least I still have the memories, though. My parents, my family, and all the family dinners and all the fun stuff that went on in this house. And stuff that was both good and bad. But all part of my life that made me who I am today. Literally, this house played a key role in who I am today. So, anyway, time to return to our family roots in Jersey City. To close up my Page Avenue Lyndhurst life. Can't think of a better way to do that than listening to my friend Mauro and his great songs, his great music. I think he performs live, actually. It's in small venues in northwestern New Jersey. Keep your eyes open for him. He's around. Excellent talent. I love him. Love him with all my heart. Great, great music. Okay. Goodbye. See you in the next video. Not in Lyndhurst, though.